What gear do I use? In this video, I'm going over all the questions I normally get asked. Like, what camera do I use? What software do I use to edit? And what's my favorite lens? Let's do it. So the first question people usually ask me is, what camera should I get if I want to create some awesome videos? Well, my very first camera was a Canon XL2, and this was an amazing professional video camera. I used it because I was volunteering at my church growing up, but it was the very, very best standard definition video. That being said, HD was barely a thing back then, and it was just too expensive to buy. Nowadays, you could find HD on any phone that's out there. I'd say my actual first camera was the Canon T3i. My dad saw that I had a passion for creating videos and photography. So I was honestly, truly blessed when he decided to invest in me. He bought me my very first DSLR camera, which at the time was about $600, and that was a huge amount of money for a camera. Especially, I was a beginner and I barely knew anything about it. So that was amazing. Since then, I've shot on several different DSLR cameras and professional video cameras. The camera that I use today is the Sony a7S II. I'm not a huge brand snob. I'm not claiming that Sony is the very best camera, because there's tons of other companies out there that have awesome cameras too. The main reason I love my Sony a7S II is really the compact size. The ability for it to shoot 60 frames per second at 1080p is amazing. I used to have a Canon 5D Mark III, and that could only do 720p for slow motion videos. It just wasn't cutting it. I needed high definition slow-mo. The Sony though, it can also shoot some amazing 4K video, and it takes some killer photos. I've traveled all over with this camera, and I just love the compact size. I've used larger DSLR cameras like Canon and professional video cameras like the Red, but the portability of having a smaller camera body is amazing. I love shooting run and gun style videos, so having something lightweight and portable is a huge advantage for me. Now, don't get me wrong, DSLR cameras or mirrorless cameras are not actual video cameras. They shoot amazing video, but they're not made to shoot professional videos. For instance, an actual video camera has external audio inputs, so you could connect a different mic or a different audio source. It also has different grips that you could hold the camera at different angles to actually shoot video. And the other thing that's cool about actual video cameras is it has the record button on multiple sides of the camera. So it just makes sense when you're shooting video. Besides a camera, the other important piece of gear to own are lenses. I think this is even more important than a camera. The great part about investing in lenses is you can use them in different camera bodies. So I personally have a Sony camera, but I can use a Canon lens on my Sony camera with an adapter. So my personal preference for lenses is getting something wide, a medium range lens, and then a zoom, like a big zoom lens. So a 16-35, a 24-70, and a 70-200. This really covers most of your focal lengths. A 16-35 is a wide lens that is perfect for capturing landscapes and making small spaces feel larger than life. The 24-70 covers a good range. If you can only have one lens, this would definitely be it. The 70-200, on the other hand, isn't for everyone, but it's super convenient to have if you can't be close to the action like sports or weddings. Since I shoot a lot of video on a gimbal, I prefer to have a lightweight setup. That being said, one of my go-to lenses is the 50mm lens, or Nifty 50. If you have to choose between an expensive camera or lens, make sure to invest in some awesome glass. Camera bodies get updated almost every year, but getting great lenses can always be used on newer bodies. So having an amazing camera and some great lenses is a great start. But remember, video is 50% visual and 50% audio. Most beginners forget about audio until the very end and end up using some cheap lav mic or worse, an on-camera audio. And it just sounds so terrible. Just remember that audio is sometimes even more important to tell a story. Think about any movie that you've ever watched. If you couldn't hear someone, then you wouldn't watch the movie or be able to follow along in the story. But if the video was blurry or shaky, like Paranormal Activity or Cloverfield, but it had some awesome audio, you'll still enjoy it. You could still follow along. So my favorite choice for audio, I love using my Tascam DR10 or the Rode Filmmakers Kit for a lav mic. A lavalier mic is a microphone that you could actually clip onto someone or hide it underneath their clothing. You'll see this mainly in TV shows or whenever you can't keep the camera close to your talent. So let's say like a wedding, you can't be right next to someone at a wedding, so you hook a lavalier mic onto the groom. The best mic that tons of YouTubers recommend is the Rode Video Mic Pro, and that's the mic that I'm actually using right now. It's the best mic if you want to talk directly to a camera. Before I go on any shoot, I make sure I have plenty of charged batteries and empty memory cards. This should be your #1 priority. After you have your camera and your lenses and your microphone, you need batteries and memory cards. I've had my share of terrible experiences when I didn't have enough charged batteries for a wedding. I literally would use up a battery and then plug it into the charger so it could be charging throughout the day. And that's just a terrible experience, especially for a wedding or any shoot. Even worse is having plenty of power, but no memory cards to save your videos or your photos. So you have your batteries charged up, but now you can't actually film anything because it won't record. For memory cards, I keep all my memory cards safe with this protective case from Pelican. So the other question I always get asked is, what apps do I use to edit my photos and my videos? I mainly use Lightroom and sometimes Photoshop to edit my photos. And then for videos, I use Premiere Pro. I love using Adobe software since it works on all platforms, whether you have a PC or a Mac, and it's widely used by professionals. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you have any questions about the gear that I mentioned today, make sure to drop a comment below. And for more awesome videos, make sure to subscribe and tap on that bell notification so you don't miss any new videos coming out. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.